Hello everybody and welcome to Marble Skirmishers, another collision-based tournament acting as a successor to the Marble Collision League, this time with 16 unique teams. In this tournament, it will be a battle between two teams in the collision board in an attempt to knock as many of the opponent's team's marbles off while keeping as many of their marbles on. Points awarded within each match based on how many marbles of the other team one team knocks off. A win nets 3 standings points, a draw 1 each, and a loss is of course 0. There are the team fixtures for today. We have no idea how any of these teams are going to do since this is the first round, but here is match 1, the Huntsman host and the Wizard Wreath. The Wizard Wreath, of course, a rebranded team, rebranded from the Wizards Huntsman host, a completely new, never before seen team. So how will these two stack up? Collide in the middle, and that's not going to be many marbles knocked off. The Wizard Wreath only knock off 1. Huntsman host do manage to knock off 2. See that 2 fall off in the bottom left corner, but in the top right, a Wizard Wreath marble has been knocked off. That means the Huntsman host will take the win 2-1 in the first match of the first round of Marble Skirmishers. Match 2 here. The Mad Hatters and Harmonic Ionics. The Mad Hatters have been rebranded from the Crazies in the Marble Collision League. Harmonic Ionics, a completely new team. How will these two stack up? They collide, and that's going to be a colossal victory there for the Harmonic Ionics. They've knocked off 3 of the Mad Hatters and only lost 1 in the process. Very nicely done, the Harmonic Ionics, keeping their marbles central, and they will take the 1-3 victory there over the Mad Hatters in match 2. Match 3 here, Monkey Mania rebranded for the Monkeys, and the new team, the Firefly Frenzy. Monkey Mania, they went very good in the Marble Collision League. Firefly Frenzy, of course, we don't know how they will perform, how down they come, and the Monkey Mania have lost nearly everything. Only 1 marble left on the board. Firefly Frenzy looked like they've kept 2 there, but I think in the top right, that marble there that you saw hide behind the track piece did not actually fall off. You can see it there in the top right. Monkey Mania have lost all but 1 marble and will lose 2-4. Now then, match 4 here. Pepper Poets, new team, and Disco Deities rebranded from the Disco Balls in the Marble Collision League. Again, we don't know how these two teams will do. Down they come, and the Disco Deities have been split apart by the Pepper Poets. Sorry, the voice cracked there. But the Pepper Poets, a very nicely done performance here. Look at them. Split the Disco Deities apart. An amazing job there. Keeping most of their marbles on the board. Knock off all but 1 of the Disco Deities. A very nice 4-2 victory there for the Pepper Poets. And that is the halfway point. Looking back at the review here, Huntsman host win 2-1. Mad Hatters lose 1-3. Monkey Mania lose 2-4. And the Pepper Poets also win 4-2 over the Disco Deities there. Moving on to match 5. The Porcelain Pirates and Aureate Aces. Porcelain Pirates, completely new team. Aureate Aces, rebranded from the Gold Stars. Down these two teams come, and Pepper Poets, they're going to lose another one in the bottom left, but it wouldn't have mattered, as the Aureate Aces had already knocked off 3 and kept on 3, meaning that they would have taken the win anyway, but it does sting a little more there for the Porcelain Pirates. Couldn't keep that marble on in the bottom left corner. And that will go from what could have been a 3-2 loss to a 4-2 loss. Aureate Aces, a nicely performance there. Now then, Rainbow Lorikeets and the Weather Warriors. Weather Warriors are rebranded from Team Sky, a very poor performance in the Marble Collision League for them. Rainbow Lorikeets completely new, down they come into the middle. And the Weather Warriors, I think, lost here. There's a Rainbow Lorikeet that you can barely not see them. It looks like a draw. But in the top left, you'll see them here. They move to the top left. They don't fall off. Very much hidden behind that track piece. They stay on, meaning it is not a draw, but a 2-1 victory for the Rainbow Lorikeets. A close match, but the Rainbow Lorikeets do take it. Now, Sparkling Sapphires are up against the Vampire Venators. Sparkling Sapphires are the only non-rebranded team here. Vampire Venators are new, down they come into the middle, and the Vampire Venators, kind of like the Disco Deities were, are split apart by the Sparkling Sapphires. My goodness, a very good performance here. Sparkling Sapphires just had that better formation, kind of like an arrow, managed to pierce through the Vampire Venators, and will take the win there 3-1. Very nicely done there in match 7. But here's the final match. Steelworkers and the Tree Troop. Steelworkers' new team up against what were the Foresters, now the Tree Troop, a very good team in the Marble Collision League. Will there be a match here? Yes, it will. The Tree Troop have knocked down the entire Steelworks team. My goodness, what a performance there. A very sturdy formation from the Tree Troop. And the Steelworkers just can't get through it. Steelworkers, they do manage to knock off 3 of the Tree Troop's marbles, but lose all the 5. And the Tree Troop with a commanding victory over the Steelworkers in that final match. You can see the results there of those last 4 matches there, along with the first 4, with the Orient Aces winning, Rainbow Lorikeets winning, Sparkling Sapphires winning, and the Tree Troop winning. No draws in this round. And of course, the 8 winners there will all be on 3 points. The 8 losers there on 0. It is the Tree Troop with that 5-point victory there, who sit on the top of the standings, just based on how many points they will manage to gain in that run. So that does it for round 1 of Marble Skirmishers. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in round 2. Round 1 certainly provided an interesting start to this tournament, and now we are once again at the collision court for round 2. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. Today, as I have just stated, we are once again on the collision court for the second round of this tournament. As you can see, the standings there, 8 teams on 3 points and 8 teams on 0 after last round had no draws whatsoever. Here are the fixtures for today, round 2. Every team, of course, up against a new team, some with 2 winners, some with 2 losers, others with a winner and a loser from round 1. Here we begin. The Orient Aces and the Disco Deities. Orient Aces, they had a win last round. Disco Deities, a loss. Let's see how these two do in round 2. Down they come, and that is not even close. The Orient Aces dominate this round. Very strong performance here from the team in yellow, knocking off most of the Disco Deities quick. They lose another one there in the top left, but it is not going to matter. They will take a solid 4-2 victory there. Disco Deities, they have not been having some good showings lately, well, at least in these first 2 rounds. Next up, the Wizard Wreath and the Porcelain Pirates. Both these teams came away from round 1 with a loss. Both will be looking to reverse that in this round. Down they come into the middle, and that's a close match, but I believe the Wizard Wreath have lost 3 to the Porcelain Pirates 2. Very close between them, but coming out of the gate, it looked like the Wizard Wreath their formation just fell apart, and so they fell apart in the collision in the middle. Porcelain Pirates will win there 3-2 over the green team there. Now then, on the opposite end, 2 teams that won in round 1, the Rainbow Lorikeets and the Pepper Poets. The Poets had a bit of a better victory than the Rainbow Lorikeets did, but down they come into the middle. Will that be shown here? And a very similar match between the Wizard Wreath and the Porcelain Pirates, and the Pepper Poets are going to take the win here. Again, it looks like the Rainbow Lorikeets formation, they kind of split apart coming out of the gates, and then allowed the Pepper Poets to knock more of them off with a solid performance there. Another 3-2 victory there for the team on the right side. Match 4 here. The Sparkling Sapphires and Monkey Mania. Sparkling Sapphires, they had a win in round 1. Monkey Mania did lose to the Firefly Frenzy. How are they doing this time, man? That's close. Will either of these hold on? No, they won't. And I think that's going to be our first draw of the tournament. A very, very close match. Both teams had a marble that slowly rolled off. You see that Sparkling Sapphires on the bottom, Monkey Mania on the top. Both teams knocked off 3 of their opponent team's marbles. And that means we will have the first draw. 3-3 it is. Those are the results for the first 4 matches. Orient Aces defeat Disco Deities, Porcelain Pirates defeat Wizard Wreath, Rainbow Lorikeets lose to Pepper Poets, and Sparkling Sapphires, of course, tie with Monkey Mania. Getting on to the second half now. It's the Steelworkers up against the Mad Hatters. Another 2 teams who took losses in round 1. Once again, looking for a win here, even more so. Down they come into the middle. And the Steelworkers are going to take this victory just barely. Another 3-2 win for one of these teams. Steelworkers, they had a very solid formation there. One in the top right almost got knocked off but managed to stay on, landing between those 2 blocks. And the Steelworkers will take the win. A very solid victory here over the Mad Hatters, who will be disappointed not have reversed their loss that they got in round 1. Now then, back to two teams who won in round 1. Tree Troop and the Huntsman Host. Both these teams did very, very solidly. Which of them will take the win here? Down they come! And that's another close match. But I believe the Tree Troop have been defeated. Huntsman Host seem to just have a more solid formation. Tree Troop quite aggressive there. And although they were able to knock off 3 of their opponent's marbles, they lost 4 in the process. And the Huntsman Host will take a nice victory. Those 2 marbles there of the Huntsman Host probably celebrating their victory. Now then, Vampire Venators and the Harmonic Ionics. Vampire Venators lost to the Sparkling Sapphires in round 1. Meanwhile, the Harmonic Ionics did take a victory over Mad Hatters. Down these two teams come into the middle. And that's a complete blow. Will there be another one there? No. But that's a complete blowout. The Harmonic Ionics have utterly decimated the Vampire Venators. They didn't manage to get that other one knocked off, but they have not lost a singular marble. What a win there by the Harmonic Ionics. 0-3 is their victory. My goodness, amazingly done there. And our final match of the day, Weather Warriors and Firefly Frenzy. Firefly Frenzy had a win in round 1. Weather Warriors lost. So down these two teams come into the middle. And that's going to be a win for the Weather Warriors. Pretty close there. That 2 marbles there in the top almost fell off for the Weather Warriors team. They both were heading that way, but managed to stay on. Firefly Frenzy will take the loss there, it seems. Yeah, you can see the overhead view there. Weather Warriors will take that last win of this last match, 4-2. And those are your results. Just looking at the last 4 matches here. Steelworkers won, Huntsman Host won, Harmonic Ionics, a massive victory there for them. And then the Weather Warriors took the victory over the Firefly Frenzy. Nice round there today. Looking at the standings, Harmonic Ionics are up at the top due to their higher point difference of 5. Very, very solid. And there are 3 other teams there on 6 points. Oid Aces, Purple Poets, and Huntsman Host joining them tied at the top. Thank you for watching round 2 of Marble Skirmishers. And next time we'll be on a new board, the Woodwall Court, for round 3. So I will see you then. So far we have had 2 rounds on the main collision court. And now for round 3 we move to a new board, the Woodwall Court. Hello everybody and welcome to round 3 of Marble Skirmishers. Today we are on a new board, as I've just stated, the Woodwall Court, with less walls, but those walls are a lot hard to knock down. Not to say it isn't possible. Currently, Harmonic Ionics are at the top of the standings, but it is still only 2 rounds in, and a lot of teams are currently right next to them on 6 points. Here are your fixtures for the day. A lot of interesting ones to look at, I think, and some not as interesting, but it will certainly be quite the unique round on this new board. First up, quite a strong match here. It's the Pepper Poets up against the Sparkling Sapphires. Pepper Poets have gotten 2 wins. Sparkling Sapphires are undefeated. How will these two teams do? Come down in the middle, and it's going to be a close match. But the Pepper Poets are going to take it, it looks like, 2-1. Sparkling Sapphires, not a bad performance there. Pepper Poets just seem to have a stronger formation. Managed to knock off more of the Sparkling Sapphires and take the victory there, 2-1. Not a high-scoring match, but definitely a close one. Next up, Porcelain Pirates are up against the Rainbow Lorikeets. None of these teams have been particularly impressive. Both have 1 win, 1 loss. How will they do against each other? Down they come! And the Rainbow Lorikeets, they're going to lose another one now. These two are kind of fighting over it. I think they're both going to fall off. Yes, there they go. That was a bit odd to see, but Rainbow Lorikeets are going to get the win. Let's take another look at that. Rainbow Lorikeets, a very solid formation. Lost 2 later, and then I don't know what these 2 marbles are doing. They kind of just decide to fight each other or something. I don't know. Porcelain Pirates marble fell off, and then the Rainbow Lorikeet marble followed them off. Just like that. Very odd to see there. But the Rainbow Lorikeets are going to get the win, 3-4. So a nice victory there for them. Now then, match 3. 2 teams still without a victory. It's the Disco Deities and Wizard Wreath. Both of these teams definitely looking for a reversal of fortune. And down they come into the middle. They collide. Disco Deities going for another one. They're going to miss. But it's not going to matter. They will still take the victory there, 3-2. Wizard Wreath, a much worse formation compared to the Disco Deities. That one disco deity there looked like going to try and knock off that Wizard Wreath Marble. Missed and fell off themselves, but it's not going to matter. Still going to take the victory. 3-2, a nice first win for the white team. 2 yellow teams here for match 4. Firefly Frenzy and Orient Aces. Orient Aces have not lost a game yet. Firefly Frenzy have lost one and won one. Down they come into the middle, they collide, and I think the Firefly Frenzy are going to win that. Can this one more hold on? Yes, they will. And that means it's going to be a 4-2 victory for the Firefly Frenzy. A strong performance there. Orient Aces just look all out of sorts coming out of the ramp. Fell apart against the Firefly Frenzy's strong formation and lose nearly everything except their captain. A 4-2 victory for the Firefly Frenzy. Looking at the results of these first half matches, Pepper Poets win, Rainbow Lorikeets win, Disco DDs win, and the Firefly Frenzy win. They're quite an upset of the Orient Aces actually, but nothing too crazy here in the first half. Now then, Harmonic Ionics up against the Weather Warriors. Harmonic Ionics have won 2 games. Weather Warriors have lost one and won one. And down these 2 teams come into the middle. They collide. That's close. And I think it's going to be a draw unless this Weather Warrior falls off. No, they don't. Manage to stop just shy of the edge there. But that was 2 fairly solid formations. Weather Warriors a bit more aggressive out of the gate there. Managed to knock off most of the Harmonic Ionics, but not enough to snatch a win. And it's going to be a draw for these 2 teams. Harmonic Ionics are still undefeated there. Next up, Huntsman Host and the Vampire Venators. Huntsman Host have won 2 games. Vampire Venators have lost 2. So Huntsman Host definitely the favourites here. Down they come to the middle. And that's a very strong formation by the Vampire Venators. And they're going to knock off the entire Huntsman Host team. My goodness, what a match. Look at that triangle they come out of. They lost their last one there right at the end. But they're going to keep one on. And that means it's a 4-5 victory for the Vampire Venators. What an upset there by that team to take the win here. Nicely done. Mad Hatters and Tree Troop are up for the penultimate match of round 3. Mad Hatters still chasing a win. Tree Troop hopefully can bounce back after their last loss. Down they come. And that was a very odd match actually. I'm not sure what happened to the Mad Hatters. Just take a look at this. On the near side, they kind of just run off, I think. Hardly even a marble was knocked off by an actual collision, but the Tree Troop are going to get the win. Very odd match there. 1-2 victory for the Tree Troop. Very little knocking off by collision. Both teams pretty defensive there, but Mad Hatters lost out. And the final match, Monkey Mania against the Steelworkers. Monkey Mania still haven't got a win here. Steelworkers are 1-1 for wins and losses. So down these 2 teams come into the middle. And that's a total annihilation of the Monkey Mania. My goodness, Steelworkers, what a win there. Monkey Mania, they completely fell apart out of the gate. Steelworkers held firm and take a brilliant 1-4 victory over Monkey Mania. That is going to put them on the map as a solid team coming out of these first 3 rounds. And those are your results looking at the last 4 matches here. A draw between the Monkey Ionics and Weather Warriors. Vampire Venators beat Huntsman Host. Tree Troop beat Mad Hatters. And Steelworkers beat Monkey Mania. Very, very interesting round we had here today. And after it, the Pepper Poets sit on top as the only team with 3 victories. And Harmonic Ionics just behind them. And then a 4-way tie for 3rd with the Orient Aces, Firefly Venators, Steelworkers, and Tree Troop. On the other end of the spectrum, Wizard Wreath and Mad Hatters still the only teams without points. And the Monkey Mania, the other team there, without a win. That is going to do us for round 3. Next time we will be back on the Woodward Court for round 4, so I will see you then. The Woodward Court certainly threw our teams a curveball in round 3, but now they are back to take a crack at it again in round 4. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. We are now starting to get into this competition, and the Pepper Poets are the only team remaining who have won all of their past games. The Harmonic Ionics, the only other team to be undefeated. Looking at the fixtures for today, some interesting ones there, particularly Orient Aces against Harmonic Ionics and Steelworkers versus Pepper Poets as your big hitting teams facing each other. But neither of them will be starting us off as we begin with the Weather Warriors and the Huntsman Host. Both these teams have been doing all right so far, but it remains to be seen how they will do against each other. Down they come, they collide, and that's going to be a victory for the Huntsman host, where the Warriors didn't do amazingly there. I believe they pulled off a draw in their last match while the Huntsman host lost on the Woodwall court, but Huntsman host are back here with a 2-4 victory over the Weather Warriors. A nice job there for that team to take the win. Now then, two strong teams here. The Aureate Aces and the Harmonic Onyx. Harmonic Onyx still undefeated after 3 matches. Aureate Aces with 1 loss last round. Will that be matched again? Harmonic Onyx do manage to hold the win here. That is a close match between these two teams. You saw 3 Harmonic Onyx got launched to the back there. Those all 3 could have been knocked off, but they managed to survive. Only 1 Aureate Ace left on the board compared to the 2 Harmonic Onyx. And so the red team will take the win 3-4 over the yellow one. Round 3 here. Vampire Venators and the Mad Hatters. Mad Hatters have lost every game so far. Vampire Venators have won 1 and lost 2. Neither of these teams doing particularly well. Can either of them get a win here? Down they come! And no, they cannot. That looks like it's going to be a draw between these two teams. Not a crazy match there. Both teams did fairly solidly, not amazing formations, managed to knock off more than half of each other's marbles, but not enough to take a win against for either of them, so that will be a draw. And the last match of the first half of this round, we have match 4 with the Wizard Wreath and the Rainbow Lorikeets, 2 green teams here. Wizard Wreath still looking for their first win, but we're not going to do it right so far. Down they come, but the Wizard Wreath are going to take that. A nice job there by the team on the left to take their first victory, doing very well against the Rainbow Lorikeets. A strong formation compared to the Rainbow Lorikeets having a not very strong one there. And the Wizard Wreath are going to get their first win of the tournament, finally getting points on the board. That does us for the first half of round 4, taking a look at the first 4 matches there. Huntsman host won, Harmonic Onyx won, Vampire Venators managed drew, and the Wizard Wreath took down the Rainbow Lorikeets. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Sparkling Sapphires are up against the Porcelain Pirates for match 5. Both these teams doing solidly so far. How will they do in this last match? Down they come, and it looks like it's going to be a draw. Another draw for the Woodwall court, seeing quite a few more draws than the original collision court, I mean. Again, fairly close, but that Porcelain Pirate just barely managing to survive. Sparkling Sapphires also doing so. We need to keep 2 marbles on there, and that's another draw. 3-3 is the final score. Now then, our second big match for the day. Steelworkers up against Pepper Poets. Will the Pepper Poets be able to keep their streak going, or will the Steelworkers manage to blow through them as they've been doing so far? Down they come, and that's going to be a Steelworkers victory. Pepper Poets, they didn't do badly there, but the Steelworkers, look at this. Pepper Poets actually had a bad formation. I don't know what I said about them doing all right here. Steelworkers blow through them like they did their last 2 matches and take a 3-2 victory here. It was still close, but the Steelworkers took them down. Tree Troop up against Monkey Mania for the penultimate match of this round on the Woodwall court. Monkey Mania have not been doing well. Tree Troop have been. Will that be shown here? Down they come. And the Tree Troop have absolutely annihilated the Monkey Mania. That is not even close. Not a single Tree Troop marble has been knocked off. Meanwhile, Monkey Mania have lost more than half of their team. A 3-0 victory is going to be sealed there for the team in green. My goodness, Monkey Mania just not been doing well in this tournament, and Tree Troop demolished them. Last match of the day, it's the Disco Deities up against the Firefly Frenzy. Firefly Frenzy have been the better team so far. The Disco Deities have got a win on the Woodwall court. How will they do against each other? Down they come! And the Firefly Frenzy are going to have the only marble left on the board. A close match to be sure. Disco Deities trying a staggered formation, but it didn't really work out compared to the Firefly Frenzy's kind of just straight line they had. And it's going to be close, but a 5-4 victory sealed it for the Firefly Frenzy to take the last win of the day. Some quite interesting matches here, looking at the last half there. Sparkling Sapphires, Porcelain Pirates, Steelworkers managed to break the Pepper Poets streak. Tree Troop, a demolition of the Monkey Mania, and Firefly Frenzy, a high-scoring match against the Disco Deities, managing to get the win there. As for the standings, the Harmonica Onyx are the only remaining undefeated team and are on 10 points. There are 5 teams behind them on 9. Meanwhile, every team now has at least 1 point, but the Mad Hatters and Monkey Mania are the only 2 remaining without a win. Woodwall Court certainly provides us with some interesting matches, but next up we will have the Cloth Court, and that will certainly throw a very unique challenge at our teams. So I will see you then. We are finally getting into the thick of this tournament, and it is time for our most unique board yet. Hello everybody and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers, and today for round 5 we move to the Cloth Court, a very small, very high friction board with no walls that will take a lot of technical work for a victory to be gained by these marbles. Looking at the current standings, Harmonica Onyx are at the top with very many teams just behind them on 9 points to their 10. Looking at the fixtures, every team is facing their alphabetical counterpart. First in alphabetically is facing last alphabetically, first alphabetically is facing second last alphabetically, and so on. Which means that our first round is between the Orient Aces and the Wizard Wreath, 2 teams that have had very opposite performances and are also opposite alphabetically. So which of them will be able to take the win here on this unique board? Down they come, and it's close! But the Orient Aces are going to take that win over the Wizard Wreath, an expected result, considering how, well, horrible the Wizard Wreath have been so far. Orient Aces dominating the center, take an easy victory there, and will take all 3 points here over the team in green. Not an unexpected result. Next up, Monkey Mania and the Rainbow Lorikeets. Monkey Mania have not been doing very well. Rainbow Lorikeets, they've been doing all right. We'll see how they stack up against each other. Down they come into the middle. And the Monkey Mania have annihilated the green team there. My goodness, that is going to be their first victory, and it is an absolute blowout. Rainbow Lorikeets have completely collapsed these past few rounds, and Monkey Mania have shown them up with a 5-2 win. My goodness. Firefly Frenzy and the Vampire Venators. None of these teams have been doing spectacularly. Firefly Frenzy have been doing quite a bit better though. Down they come into the middle now, and that's going to be a draw. A close match to be sure. Both teams looking to have pretty solid formations there, crashing into each other in the middle. But not really anyone close to a win. A draw will probably be alright for both teams there. And moving to our final match before the halfway point, Huntsman Host and the Steelworkers, 2 teams that have been doing very well so far. How will they stack up against each other? Down they come! And the Steelworkers, another dominating victory for them. They took down the Pepper Poets last round, and now they take down the Huntsman Host. This team has been on fire so far. Huntsman Host seem to be losing their touch after a couple poor results. They did win last round actually, but struggling to hold up to the better teams. Looking at those results, Orient Aces, an expected win over the Wizard Wreath. Monkey Mania, a blowout against the Rainbow Lorikeets. Firefly Frenzy draw at the Vampire Venators, and the Steelworkers take a nice victory there over the Huntsman Host. Next up, Disco Deities and Weather Warriors, both teams that have been struggling as of late. Can either of them pull out a win here? Down they come, and it does not look like it. That was a very close match. Almost a complete 5-5 draw, but it is going to be 4-4. Those 2 marbles, the Disco Deities almost had some holding on, but did lose it. Those 2 marbles left there close to the edge as well. And it's going to be an even draw, 4-4. Next up, Mad Hatters and the Sparkling Sapphires. Sparkling Sapphires, they've been having quite a few draws as of late. Mad Hatters unable to get a win. Let's see if they can grab one here against the Sparkling Sapphires. Absolutely not. They've been absolutely annihilated once again. Oh goodness, this team has just not been performing well. Sparkling Sapphires, however, should be commended for that. A very strong formation and a very well-deserved victory. Nearly took that. 0-5 actually, if those 2 Mad Hatters had fallen off. But 0-3 is the score. Pepper Poets up against the Porcelain Pirates, the 2P teams. For this match, Pepper Poets are reeling from their first loss. Porcelain Pirates have not been that good so far though. Down they come into the middle. Our first low-scoring game, to be honest. Besides the first one, but the Pepper Poets are going to get it. Very close, actually. Pepper Poets could have lost 2 more marbles there, but the Porcelain Pirates will lose as they hang on. Nice bounce-back victory there for the red team after they lost to the Steelworkers in the last round. But the final match here is going to be a big one. Harmonic Ionics and the Tree Troop. Can the Harmonic Ionics keep their undefeated streak, or will the Tree Troop finally manage to take them down? Down they come, into the middle, and the Tree Troop have done it. They've taken down the Harmonic Ionics. What a match. That was very, very close. That Tree Troop over there. Harmonic Ionics almost managed to force a draw. Nearly even took a win there if that impact had just been a bit better. But the Tree Troop take it 3-4 as the final game of this round. My goodness. What a round we saw there. Very exciting. Looking at the last 4 matches. A 4-all draw, a 0-3 win, a 2-1 win, and then the Tree Troop there taking down the Harmonic Ionics once and for all, leaving no team undefeated. Current standings, Tree Troop do take the top spot, with the Steelworkers and Pepper Poets tied with them on 12 points, following them on 10 are the Harmonic Ionics and Firefly Frenzy. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the standings, the Mad Hatters remain the only team without a victory. That does us for round 5, and next time we'll be back on the cloth court for round 6, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. We are up to round 6, almost reaching the halfway point, and we are once again on the cloth court, which proved to be very interesting and very different to the last few courts we've played on. Looking at the current standings, the Tree Troop are at the top, followed by the Steelworkers and Pepper Poets, and then the Harmonic Ionics and Firefly Frenzy just behind. And all of those teams are quite close on points. It'll be quite interesting to see how they go about here in round 6. Looking at the matches for today, biggest one there seems to be Firefly Frenzy up against the Harmonic Ionics. Nothing else too crazy, but we will start with the Vampire Venators and the Pepper Poets. The former of these two teams did pull off a draw last time they were in the cloth court, though the Pepper Poets did pick up a win. Shall we see that again? Down they come! And yes, we will. Pepper Poets once again proving why they are tied for the most points in this competition so far. Another win there for them brings them up to 5-1. Vampire Venators unfortunate there to get a loss after doing okay the last few rounds, but when you come up against a team like the Pepper Poets, that is expected. Next up, Weather Warriors up against the Monkey Mania. Weather Warriors drew on this court last time, meanwhile Monkey Manias took a very nice victory over the Rainbow Lorikeets. Come down, and the Monkey Mania get another win. They have been very, very good on the cloth court, despite being quite terrible on the wood wall and collision courts. Look at that. Weather Warriors almost held on for the draw, but fell off. Monkey Mania win 4-5. Very nicely done here by a team that has not been very good, but has done well on this court. Next up, 2 yellow teams here. Orient Aces and the Mad Hatters. Orient Aces have been doing quite well so far. Mad Hatters, quite the opposite, with only a draw and 4 losses to their name. Down they come, and it's another draw for the Mad Hatters. They've managed to survive yet another round. Another point for them. Orient Aces, they are not going to be too happy about that, I think. They were definitely looking for a win here against a team that has not been very good, but they will only get away with a draw there, 1 point to each team. Now, likely the biggest match here of this round, the Firefly Frenzy and Harmonic Ionics, these teams, both tied on 10 points, 4th and 5th respectively. Down they come, and the Firefly Frenzy take that win. Harmonic Ionics, they have lost the last round, and now they've lost another one. Firefly Frenzy in excellent formation. Harmonic Ionics just couldn't hold on. And the yellow team there takes the win. Firefly Frenzy, they had 4 games of undefeated performances, and now they've lost 2 in a row here on the cloth court. At the halfway mark, we've had a win for the Pepper Poets, a win for the Monkey Mania, draw between the Orient Aces and Mad Hatters, and then as you've seen, a win for the Firefly Frenzy. Moving on to the second half, Tree Troop and Porcelain Pirates. Current top of the standings against the Porcelain Pirates. Not much really to say about them in relation to that. Down they come into the middle, and the Tree Troop are just barely going to hold on for that win. My, that was close. That one marble in the top left, just barely managing to hold on as the Porcelain Pirates just can't knock it off. 3-2 is the final score there. Tree Troop will probably be keeping their spot at the top of the standings. Wizard Wreath against the Sparkling Sapphires. Wizard Wreath did lose on this court last time, while the Sparkling Sapphires took a victory. Will we see a repeat of those results here? No, we will not. It is a draw. Wizard Reef are probably going to be happy to get a draw here against the Sparkling Sapphires. Neither of these teams really doing anything spectacular there, and that does result in a draw. Sparkling Sapphires, that makes it their third draw of the series in only 6 matches. That is half their matches as a draw. Penultimate match here. Steelworkers, another top team against the Rainbow Lorikeets, who have been struggling lately. Quite interesting to see how they do here. Well, not really. The Steelworkers just absolutely win again. That grey team has been strong in basically all of their matches except the first one. That's going to be their 5th win, bring them up to 15 points to be tied with the Pepper Poets and the Tree Troop. You know, the Rainbow Lorikeet just cannot find their form again. They've lost 3 in a row now. Not good for them. And our final match of the day, Disco Dee-Dees against the Huntsman Host. Huntsman Host did lose last time. Disco Dee-Dees had a draw. Can the Disco Dee-Dees maybe going to win here? No, they cannot. They have lost to the Huntsman Host, who seem to be fluctuating in form basically every match, but Disco Dee-Dees had a bad formation there. Tried to go staggered again, how they did against the Weather Warriors, I think, but didn't work out this time. Huntsman Host managed to hold on with 2 marbles there, and the score is 3-4, a win for the brown team. So that are your results for this round. Looking at the last half, Tree Troop win, a draw between Wizard Reef and Sparkling Sapphires, Steelworkers win, and the Huntsman Host win. Looking at the standings, the top 3 do not change. It's still Tree Troop, Steelworkers, Pepper Poets. But then it is Firefly Frenzy, and then the Huntsman Host have moved into the 5th place spot, ahead of the Harmonica Notes and the Orient Aces. Thank you for watching this round of Marble Skirmishers. Next time I will see you on another new court, the Ball Bearing Court, or just the Bearing Court. See you there. The last board was very different to the 2 before, and now we return to some sort of normalcy here in round 7 with the Bearing Court. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. The top 3 are locked together on 15 points there, the Trade Troop, Steelworkers and Pepper Poets, and we will see if in this round on the Bearing Court, we will finally see that broken. This court quite interesting. We've got 4 ball bearings in the middle as obstacles, but the middle sides are removed. Looking at the fixtures today, nothing particularly interesting here. Huntsman Host and Firefly Frenzy is the last match though. Those are 2 good teams going up against each other. But first off, we have 2 not very good teams going up against each other. The Mad Hatters and the Disco Deities. Mad Hatters still searching for a win. Disco Deities trying to get out of the basement they have been placed in. How will they do here? And the Mad Hatters have finally taken their victory. My goodness, it took them a while. And now that they've done it, it is an annihilation. Very well done here on the Bearing Court. Found the gaps to knock the deities into and managed to do it with vigor. Very nicely done there. A 4-1 victory for the Mad Hatters. A good win as their first. Next up, Monkey Mania and the Orient Aces. Monkey Mania have been on a roll on the cloth court, but now that they're off it, we'll see how they do against a top team like the Orient Aces. Down they come! That one might be close. Can the Monkey Mania get another win? Mob off here? No, they can't. And the Orient Aces are going to take a fairly comfortable win here. It could have been closer, that one Orient Ace at the top, and then that Monkey Mania trying to knock off this last Orient Ace here. Can't get it though, can't get either of them. And a comfortable 3-1 victory for the Orient Aces. The Monkey Mania cannot keep up their streak. The Orient Aces getting another good win after the draw to the Mad Hatters. Next up, the Pepper Poets and the Weather Warriors. Pepper Poets will be looking for a victory here to boost their score. Weather Warriors might just be trying to survive here. Down they come. Pepper Poets have almost lost it all. They just managed to eke out a draw. Weather Warriors, a fantastic performance here. Pepper Poets went very aggressive. Weather Warriors managed to hold on. Pepper Poets, those 2 marbles in the corners very easily could have fallen off. That could have gone a lot worse than it did. I think with how they performed, they'll be happy to take a 3-3 victory. Weather Warriors will definitely be happy with that. 3-3 draw, sorry. Porcelain Pirates and the Vampire Vendors as the halfway mark. Both these teams kind of mid to bad, honestly. How will they do here? Down they come! And the Porcelain Pirates completely destroy the Vampire Vendors. Now, Arsenal a bit out of control. Will stay on the board. Very nicely done here by Porcelain Pirates. Managing to actually use the entryways as kind of rebound to knock the Vampire Vendors off like that. pretty serious trigonometry there to knock them off. And that is a 4-2 win for the Pirates over the Venators. Results after the first half: win for Mad Hatters, win for Orient Aces, draw between Poets and Warriors, and a win for the Pirates. So, quite evenly matched here. Rainbow Lorikeets and the Tree Troop, two green teams. Rainbow Lorikeets have been not out a win since round 3, and the Tree Troop are looking to keep that the same. Yes, they will. This last one, we're just going to roll off. Oh, they did. Bit odd there. Maybe just celebrating, but Tree Troop are going to get the win anyway. I don't know what's going on there. Two good formations, to be honest, but the Tree Troop are just such a stellar team. Rainbow Lorikeets could not survive them. And then I don't know what this last Tree Troop marble was doing. Just kind of decided to roll off the course. Roll off the court. Very interesting choice, but they do as they do. 4-5 victory for the Tree Troop. Really should have been 3-5, but, you know. Sparkling Sapphires up against the Steelworkers. Sapphires probably just looking for anything here against a very good team like the Steelworkers. Will be looking to make that top 3 or top 2 after the Poets drew against the Warriors. Down they come! And the Steelworkers, that's just another crushing victory. They have been blowing through every single opponent they face, and the Sparkling Sapphires were no different. Solid formation again. The Steelworkers they're just such a solid team. You never see them doing badly. They only lost against the Tree Troop in round 1, and that has made this the 6th win in a row. Sapphires unfortunate for the loss there. Harmonic Ionics and the Wizard Wreath. Harmonic Ionics have been having a lot of difficulty lately, but now that they're off the cloth court, they might be able to get another win against the Wizard Wreath, who are not a good team. Down they come! And that is going to be a win for the Harmonic Ionics. Wizard Wreath actually started this match out well, it looked like. Take a look at the replay here. Harmonic Ionics lost too early, but the Wizard Wreath lost too late, and then there was that other one that went off early. So a close match to be sure, but the Wizard Wreath are going to lose it, which, you know, we might expect here. 3-2 win to the Harmonic Ionics. And last up, the Huntsman Host and the Firefly Frenzy. Definitely the most evenly matched bout of this fixture. Down they come! And that is going to be a win for the Firefly Frenzy. Will they lose one up there? No, they won't. That wouldn't have mattered. Anyway, the Huntsman Host, honestly, they got quite close, but their formation was just not it. And the Firefly Frenzy are going to take that win. That will, I believe, put them equal with the Pepper Poets at the standings. Huntsman Host are going to drop a couple places, I think, after that loss. That top flight is very close. 2-4 to the Firefly Frenzy. And those are your results of the Bearing Court. Last half there. Tree Troop win, Steelworkers win, Harmonic Ionics win, and Firefly Frenzy win. All good teams who you would expect to take victories here. Looking at the standings, Steelworkers have taken the top spot by the slimmest of margins, 1.4 ahead of the Tree Troop, even though they are tied on point difference and 18 points. Meanwhile, the Harmonic Ionics and Orient Aces rise up above the Huntsman Host, and the Mad Hatters have finally made it out of last place. That dishonor now goes to the Disco Deities with -9 as their point difference. Thank you for watching this round of Marble Skirmishers, and we'll see you next time back on the Bearing Court for round 8. See you then. Quite a range of matches occurred on the Bearing Court in round 7, and now we will see what it will provide for us in round 8. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. Currently at the top of the standings, the Steelworkers are locked with the Tree Troop after the Pepper Poets dropped points in a draw in the last round. So just those two at the top. Fixtures for today, quite interesting here. Tree Troop against Sparkling Sapphires to start us off, and then all the way at the end we have a big match there, the Orient Aces against the Pepper Poets, along with the Harmonic Ionics against the Huntsman Host in the middle. Those are your interesting matches for today, and we start with the Tree Troop and the Sparkling Sapphires. Sparkling Sapphires are a mid-table team. Tree Troop are up at the top. Can the Tree Troop blast through this team to continue their winning streak? No, they can't! Sparkling Sapphires, I think they're going to lose another one there, unfortunately, but they've done it here. 3-4. A fantastic job by the blue team here to take down a top team like the Tree Troop. I'm going to try into this last marble. I think the momentum, they just could not stop themselves on a fairly slippery surface that the Bearing Court is. But they will take a fantastic victory there. 3-4 over the Tree Troop. The green team finally drops points. Next up, it's the Vampire Venators up against the Rainbow Lorikeets. Neither of these teams have done particularly well so far this season. Remember, it's quite a long losing streak, though. Can they fix that here? Yes, they can. Nice performance there by the Rainbow Lorikeets. A very, very solid victory there. They have been on, as I said, quite the losing streak, but a good formation here. Poor formation by the Vampire Venators. And that leaves the opening for the green team there to take that win 2-4. A very nice performance there for them. Two blue teams up against each other now. The Weather Warriors and the Porcelain Pirates. Weather Warriors and Porcelain Pirates, neither of them are kind of mid to low table teams. How will they do against each other? And that is a close match, not high scoring at all, which is not really typical of the Bearing Court, but the Weather Warriors are going to win that 2-1. A very low scoring game. Nicely done there by the Weather Warriors. Had a pretty good formation to the Porcelain Pirates' kind of off one. And so they will take the win against the other blue team. Now then, rounding off the first half, it's the Harmonic Ionics and the Huntsman Host. Two solid teams who are up there at the top set of the table. Who will take this win in round 8? It's close, but the Harmonic Ionics are going to get it, I think. Pretty close match there. If you look at the bottom here, I think one Huntsman Host marble fell off a bit late. No, it was at the top there, in the top right. And then at the bottom here. So the Huntsman Host could have taken that win, I think, but Harmonic Ionics just managed to hold on held on better, sorry. And they will take the victory there, 3-2. That concludes the first half of round 8. Sparkling Sapphires win, Rainbow Lorikeets win, Weather Warriors win, and of course the Harmonic Ionics take that victory there. Now then, Wizard Wreath up against the Steelworkers. With the Tree Troop losing, the Steelworkers have a massive opportunity to take a 3-point lead at the top of the table. Can they do it against the Wizard Wreath? Down they come. It's close, and the Steelworkers are going to be unable to do it. Wizard Wreath, I believe, have just outplayed them. My goodness, that was very close. Wizard Wreath almost took down the Steelworkers there. Great team actually lucky to pull out a draw from that. Overall score is 3-3, so the lead above the Tree Troop will only be a single point. That is if the Pepper Poets don't win. Next up, Firefly Frenzy up against Mad Hatters, a good team up against a poor team. Two yellow teams though. How will this one end? Down they come into the middle. And the Mad Hatters have done amazingly. My goodness, that is quite the upset. Firefly Frenzy just completely fell apart against a bottom table team. That is not good from them at all. But the Mad Hatters, they are going to be ecstatic with that victory. 1-3 to the team on the right side there. Penultimate match of round 8. Disco Deities against Monkey Mania. Another two teams who have not been doing very well so far in the standings. How will they do in this match? Down they come! And it looks like the Disco Deities are going to crush the Mad Hatters Monkey Mania here. Neither of those marbles are going to fall off. Actually pretty close. Now that I look at it again. Oh no, it's very hard to see, but that Disco Deity I'm hearing at the top left, you can just barely see them there, has actually survived. So it looks like a 3-2 win, but it's actually a 3-1 win. You can see them there. Disco Deities, a nice victory there against the Monkey Mania, will give them some much needed points. And our final match, the real blockbuster of today, it's the Orient Aces against the Pepper Poets. Two top table teams. How will they do against each other? Down they come into the middle, and that's a close match. It's going to be a dead draw. My goodness, that is a nice match. Both teams here came out with pretty defensive formations, and so we see a low-scoring draw here. Only 2-2. Maybe not all we would have hoped for the entertainment aspect, but both teams, I think, will be happy to get away with a draw against the other. And with that, we conclude round 8 of Marble Skirmishers. Looking at the second half results here, Wizard Wreath and Steelworkers tie, and Mad Hatters win, Disco Deities win, and again another draw there between the Orient Aces and the Pepper Poets. Looking at the current standings, as you can see, the top 8 are outlined as only the top half after the 15 rounds have been completed will be making it to finals. Steelworkers 1 point above the Tree Troop, or 1 point above the Pepper Poets, or 1 point above the Harmonic Ionics and Firefly Frenzy, with the Orient Aces, Sparkling Sapphires and Huntsman Host also clear of the bottom half. However, as I've just stated, we are only halfway through this tournament, which means all those other teams still have great chances to be able to make it into finals should they improve upon their performances in the first half. For round 9, we will be going to the last new court of this tournament, the bounce court, so I will see you then. Our time on the bearing court is over, and for round 9 we move to our final unique court of this tournament, the bounce court. It doesn't really seem very bouncy like this, but that wooden board there in the middle is hollow and will cause the marbles to bounce around quite chaotically, and so it will be quite interesting to see how they perform here. Fixtures for today, looking at that last match in particular, Pebble Hollowitz up against Tree Troop will be a massive match. Second up against third. Also see the Huntsman Host and the Orient Aces taking at a brawl in the center, so that will also be interesting, and a lot of good matches, of course, in between. To start off though, it's the Monkey Mania and the Vampire Venators, two orange teams that have not been performing very well in this tournament. How will they stack up against each other? Down they come into the middle, you see they're bouncing, and the Monkey Mania are just barely gonna hold on for the win there. That marble on the bottom, you look at them, very, very close to falling off there along with that other one. Just managed to hold on. Venators are going to be disappointed that they couldn't get a draw out of that. They will lose 4-3 to the Monkey Mania, who do quite well on this board. Next up, Porcelain Pirates and the Steelworkers. Porcelain Pirates have been struggling most of the time throughout this tournament. Steelworkers are on a 7-match unbeaten streak. Can they continue this here? Down they come. And yes, they will. They do lose another one in the top left late in the match, but it's not going to be enough for the Porcelain Pirates to eke out a draw. Their formation did kind of fall apart in the bouncing. It is quite hard to hold a formation once you enter this court because it is quite chaotic. Marbles do bounce around a lot. Steelworkers managed to hold it though, and they take the win 3-4 over the Pirates. Match 3, Rainbow Lorikeets and the Sparkling Sapphires. None of these teams doing particularly well. Sparkling Sapphires are in the top 8 though. Rainbow Lorikeets gonna have to try get some points here. Down they come! Rainbow Lorikeets are gonna lose their last marble, and it's gonna be a 5-5 washout. First time we've seen that in this tournament. Rainbow Lorikeets looked like they might have been able to have it, but off that rebound, just holding too much speed. The block was not enough to stop that marble from falling off. And the 5-5 draw is sealed between the Lorikeets and the Sapphires. 1 point for each team is the result of that. And our final match before the halftime break, it is the Huntsman Host and the Orient Aces. Brown team up against the yellow team. Both of these teams have been doing quite well this tournament. How do they do against each other? Huntsman Host are going to get it. They'll lose one more marble, but they will hold on for the ultimate victory against the Aces. Orient Aces might have been able to have this had they had a little less momentum there to knock that block off, but it just wasn't in the cards for them. Huntsman Host, not as clean of a victory as they might have liked, but on the bounce court, what else can you hope for? That is a 5-4 win for them. Reminiscing on the last 4 matches here, Monkey Mania win, Steelworkers win, Lorikeets tie with Sapphires, and the Huntsman Host take the win there. High scoring matches and a single team able to keep more than 2 marbles on the board. Harmonica Ionics up against the Disco Deities. Ionics have been making a comeback since their poor performance on the cloth court. Can the Disco Deities manage to stop them in their tracks? Down they come, chaotic formations, but the Deities are going to draw it. They almost had the win there. Look at this formation for the Harmonica. It's just absolutely everywhere. Got clobbered by the Deities, but they just could not hold on. Lost that one late in the top of the board. And it's going to be a 4-all draw. Harmonica Ionics, they're going to be counting their lucky stars to get away with a point there. Firefly Frenzy and the Wizard Wreath up for match 6. Firefly Frenzy have been doing quite well in this tournament. Wizard Wreath, not so much. How are they doing against each other? Down they come! And the Wizard Wreath have absolutely decimated the Frenzy. My goodness, what a win! The Firefly Frenzy have been absolutely destroyed by the Wizard Wreath. I cannot believe that. My goodness, the Firefly Frenzy have fallen apart completely. That match is 1-4 to the Wreath. What a performance by the green team. Next up, Mad Hatters and the Weather Warriors. Mad Hatters, not a very good team here, but they've been doing a bit better lately. Weather Warriors have been quite up and down. How do they do? And it's a 5-5 washout again. My goodness, these teams have been going at it on the bounce court here today. And that one, every marble has been knocked off for a second time. 5-5 is the score there. Quite interesting to see that again, but, you know, maybe not the best for entertainment. But the one we were waiting for, the final match of round 9, Pepper Poets and Tree Troop going at it. Two fantastic teams. Who will come out on top? Down they come. Looks like a draw, but the Tree Troop come in with that final smack on the Pepper Poets to take the win. My goodness, what a fantastic rebound. Look at that replay by the Tree Troop. An amazing shot there. Coming back on the Pepper Poets. It looked like a 2-2 draw, but the Tree Troop have pulled off something amazing there to make it a 2-3 victory. My goodness, what a final match there. Looking at the results of those final 4 matches, Harmonic Olympics and Disco DD's draw, Wizard Wreath decimate the 5-way Frenzy, Mad Hatters with the Warriors draw, and the Tree Troop there, a fantastic win over the Pepper Poets. Taking a look at how the standings have been shaken up, Steelworkers and Tree Troop still locked at the top, but Harmonic Onyx have now taken over the Pepper Poets, but is still a solid 4 points behind the team in second there. Huntsman also overtake both the Aureate Aces and the Sparkling Sapphires. Monkey Mania also able to rise 3 there up into 11th. Still remains to be seen if any teams in the bottom half can make it into the top half to try and get into finals, but it looks like these will be heating up coming into round 10 back on the bounce court. See you then. In round 9, the bounce court proved to be the most chaotic of any we have seen in this tournament, and we're back on it for round 10. Hello everybody and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. Looking at the current standings, Steelworkers are just 1 point ahead of the Tree Troop. We will see if that holds after this round. Fixtures for today, big one there at the bottom post. The bottom is the Firefly Friends against the Pepper Poets. Not much else incredibly interesting here, but the bounce court will prove to make interesting matches either way. First up, it's the Huntsman Host up against the Mad Hatters. Huntsman Host are doing pretty well. Mad Hatters are making a bit of a comeback so far. How are they doing against each other here? And the Mad Hatters have another win under their belt. My goodness, they have been doing very well recently. And they've just taken down another strong team in this tournament. Very good performance there. Had a better formation coming out and just do better than the Huntsman O's, knocking down most of them, all of them, and with one left, they win 4-5. Next up, 2 green teams, Wizard Wreath and the Tree Troop. Tree Troop, obviously, currently second in the standings, doing excellently. Wizard Wreath, another team making a bit of a comeback. How are they doing against each other? Down they come, and the Tree Troop have been utterly decimated. Just like the Firefly Frenzy in round 9, the Wizard Wreath have decimated another top team. My goodness, that is fantastic by the Wizard Wreath. I believe they only lose 2 marbles there. There's one just hidden behind. Yeah, you can see it there. Meanwhile, the Tree Troop have lost everything. A 5-2 victory for the Wizard Wreath. A massively amazing job. 2 upsets in a row. We'll see if we see a third one here with the Vampire Venators and the Steelworkers. Steelworkers, of course, top of the table. Vampire Venators, can they do something against them here? It's close. It's going to be 4-4. A draw. Vampire Venators will be very happy going away with a draw here. Steelworkers were kind of all over the place and still managed to almost win it, but lost too late in the match at the top of the board there. Do manage to keep one on though, along with the Vampire Venators one. So it is a 4-all draw. Next up for match 4, it is the Weather Warriors up against Sparkling Sapphires. 2 blue teams here. Sparkling Sapphires are in the top half. Weather Warriors are not. They want to try and get a win here, see if they can make a dent in the Sparkling Sapphires. And they cannot. The Sapphires do very, very well there. Weather Warriors only able to keep 1 marble on the board, while the Sparkling Sapphires managed to keep 3. A dominant performance there by the Sapphires. Honestly, just a good performance. Not much else to say about that. 2-4 is the final score for the match between these 2 teams. Sparkling Sapphires take the win. First 4 match results here. Mad Hatters win, Wizard Wreath win, draw between Vampire and Steelworkers, Sparkling Sapphires win. The top teams aren't doing that well here except for the Sparkling Sapphires. Next up, Aureate Aces against the Rainbow Lorikeets for match 5. Rainbow Lorikeet is looking to try and make a comeback here. Orient Aces trying to keep their spot in the top 8. How will they do? And it's close win for the Orient Aces, though, is the result of that match. Rainbow Lorikeet did pretty well, but they bounced all over the place and just got locked into the slot there by the Orient Aces. A good performance by the yellow team, managed to hold on one marble, and that's all they need for the victory. A 5-4 win for the Aces there. Nicely done. Match 6, Disco Deities and Porcelain Pirates, two teams that have been struggling in this tournament, hoping to get any points here, hopefully a 3. How will they do? Down they come! It's close, but I think the Porcelain Pirates are going to have it. Yes, they will. Tried to come back and knock down another Disco Deity, but weren't able to do it there. You saw that knock. Did manage to hold on, though, for a 2-3 win against the Deities. Deities continue to struggle there down at the bottom of the standings. Porcelain Pirates managed to at least get a win here to boost their points. Now, probably the biggest match of today, Firefly Frenzy and Pepper Poets. The Frenzy have been struggling a lot lately. Pepper Poets also need a win here after the loss to the Tree Troop last round. Down they come into the middle. Pepper Poets, a comfortable win there. They're going to lose another one, unfortunately, but still a 4-5 win for them. Nicely done here. Firefly Frenzy were all over the place, lost all of their marbles fairly quickly. Pepper Poets could afford to lose that one more. Not going to see it fall off there in the replay, but it does fall off. And they will take the victory there 4-5. And our final match of the day, it's the Harmonic Ionics up against Monkey Mania. Harmonic Ionics trying to keep their spot in the top quarter of the standings. Monkey Mania need a win here to have a chance of getting back into the top half. Down they come! And the Monkey Mania look to have it, but they lose out last. Those last two marbles can't stop themselves. They roll off. And that's going to cause a loss. Monkey Mania, honestly, that was just a throw. They had the Harmonic Ionics by the throat and threw it all away. A 4-3 win for the Harmonic Ionics. They probably didn't deserve that, in all honesty. Monkey Mania lose too late. Not good there. And the Harmonic Ionics win 4-3. There are your results for round 10, looking at the last 4 matches. Orient Aces win, Porcelain Pirates win, Pepper Poets win, and Harmonic Ionics win. Looking at the standings, top 4 stay the same. Orient Aces and Sparkling Sapphires do manage to pass 5,000 from host. Madhouse and Wizard Wreath are trying to make their way into the top half, looking like the only teams who are actually trying to make a grasp for it. For the things and Entrepreneurs and Whites have to be looking over their shoulder to make sure neither of those teams pass them. That is it for the bounce court so far after round 10. Round 11, we will be returning to the bearing court for our look at the last 5 rounds. See you then. Now that we have passed round 10 and have seen all the unique boards Marble Skirmishers has to offer, the last 5 rounds we'll be going through them one by one, starting with the bearing court. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. Steelworkers still at the top of the standings, 2 points ahead of the Tree Troop after the green team lost last match. Harmonic Ionics and Pepper Poets trying to make up that distance as well. Madhouse and Wizard Wreath also trying to get into the top half. Looking at the fixtures for today, nothing really major here except that last match, Sapphires versus Aces. We'll have to see how this shakes out. First up, Steelworkers and the Weather Warriors. Steelworkers, of course, top of the standings, an amazing team. Weather Warriors struggling there in the bottom half. How will these two teams do? Down they come into the middle. It's close, but it's going to be a draw. The Weather Warriors just barely lose one last marble. You see it here. They knock off 2 of the Steelworkers nicely, lose one there, and then just one more on the right side falls off. Unfortunate not to get a win there. But it's going to be a draw, 2-2. Not what they wanted. Down at the bottom of the standing, Steelworkers will probably take a draw here. Next up, Tree Troop and the Vampire Venators. Again, 2 teams on opposite sides of the spectrum. Can the Vampire Venators maybe cause an upset here? Down they come into the middle, and they've done it! The Vampire Venators have won over the Tree Troop 0-1. What a match that is! The Tree Troop are going to be kicking themselves for losing that match. They haven't even knocked off a single Venator. My goodness, a standout performance there by the Vampire Venators, winning over the Tree Troop. 0-1 is the final score. Mad Hatters versus the Wizard Wreath. Next up here, both these teams are trying to get into the top half try and get into the finals. Can either of them get a win and get more points? Down they come. And it's going to be the Mad Hatters. They put a stop to the Wizard Wreath momentum and continue their own in the process. Almost managed to get all of them off there. Just that one Wizard Wreath marble managing to stick around rather. Mad Hatters keep 2-3 on the board and take the win there 4-2. Final match of the first half here in round 11. It's the Monkey Mania and the Huntsman Host. Monkey Mania really need a win here to keep their hopes getting to the top half alive. Huntsman Host trying to survive in the top half. Down they come! And it's going to be a draw. Monkey Mania there almost managed to snag a win. You can see those two Huntsman Host marbles almost fell off, but just barely managed to survive there on the right side of the board. Monkey Mania won't be getting that win they so desperately need. It's going to be a 2-all draw like the first match we saw in this round. Looking at the results from the first 4 matches, of course, Steelworkers and Weather Warriors draw. Done by Venators upset the Tree Troop. Mad Hatters defeat Wizard Wreath, and another draw there between Monkey Mania and Huntsman Host. Next match, it is a big one that I missed before actually. Pebble Poets and the Harmonic Ionics, 2 strong teams, 3rd and 4th. How are they doing against each other? Down they come into the middle, and the Harmonic Ionics are going to take it. A nice victory there to keep themselves in the top flight there. Pepper Poets kind of just fell apart in the formation. They have been struggling a little bit lately. And they will lose here to the Harmonic Ionics 2-4. A nice job there by the Ionics to take that win, and they will definitely be keeping their top flight hopes alive. Match 6. Porcelain Pirates and Firefly Frenzy. Pirates, of course, not a particularly good team, but the Firefly Frenzy have been doing quite poorly in the last few matches. Will that continue here? Yes, it will. The Pirates have conducted another decimation of the Firefly Frenzy. That team has lost by large margins in the last few matches, and now they've lost another big margin, 4-1. The Porcelain Pirates, very nicely done there, pierced through the Firefly Frenzy formation and will take a well-deserved 4-1 victory. Rainbow Lorikeets and the Disco Deities up for match 7, the penultimate match of this round. Both teams that have been struggling in the bottom half. Can either of them find some points here? Down they come, and the Rainbow Lorikeets are going to take that victory. Nicely done there. Manages to knock off the entire Deities team there. Great formation by the Lorikeets. Had that one marble there in the back, as many of these teams like to do, and they will win 5-1. Nicely done there, knocking off the entire Deities team, while the Deities can only take one off them, and they will win comfortably. And the final match of the day, Sparkling Sapphires and Aureate Aces. Can either of these teams get a win here and be more comfortable in the top half of the standings? Down they come into the middle, and the Sparkling Sapphires are going to just barely miss the win. My goodness, there are only 2 marbles left. Both teams keep 1 marble on the board, but the Sparkling Sapphires almost had it. That marble on the left just barely falls off after hitting the ball bearing there. The bearing court makes its decision, and it will be a 4-all draw between the Sapphires and the Aces. A nice match, a nice round of matches here for today. Looking at that last half, Harmonic Ionics defeat the Poets, Porcelain Pirates defeat the Frenzy, Rainbow Lorikeets defeat the Deities, and the Sapphires and Aces do draw 4-all. Looking at the standings, Harmonic Ionics have managed to pass the Tree Troop, but the Mad Hatters are now only 1 point behind both the Huntsman Host and Firefly Frenzy, and 2 points behind the Sparkling Sapphires. So just 1 win for them and 1 loss for any of those teams will put the Mad Hatters ahead. They are really trying to get into this top half. That is it for round 11, and next time in round 12 I will see you on the Woodwall court. So whenever that time comes, I will see you then. The final third of Marble Skirmishers was underway last round with the Bearing Court, and now we return to the Woodwall Court to see what it can offer us in round 12. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. The Steelworkers still hold their lead. The Harmonic Ionics are right behind them. Just 1 point separates those 2 teams at the top. Meanwhile, Mad Hatters, Rainbow Lorikeets and Porcelain Pirates are all in striking distance of the top half, looking to try and make a grab for a finals spot. Fixtures for today, big one there, Huntsman Host versus Pepper Poets, and the last one there, Aureate Aces versus Steelworkers. Big matches today, but we start off with the Harmonic Ionics and the Porcelain Pirates. Ionics looking for a way to try and overtake the Steelworkers. Porcelain Pirates trying to grasp at a top half spot. Down they come into the middle, and it's going to be a draw. Neither team able to get the 3 points they desperately need. Well, Porcelain Pirates desperately needed a bit more. They will manage to get one each. Harmonica Onyx might not be able to overtake the Steelworkers in this round, and the Pirates are going to be disappointed to not have those 3 points there that they need to get a top half spot. 3-all is the final score. Huntsman Host and Pepper Poets next up. Two good teams. Pepper Poets are mostly safe from not being able to make finals. Huntsman Host do need a couple more points, though, to ensure they make it. Down they come! And the Hosts are going to get this win. A nice job there by the Huntsman Host over the Pepper Poets. These are 3 points they desperately need, and they've got it. Dominate the Pepper Poets, honestly, with a nice formation over the red team, and they are going to take a well-needed 3 points here to try and ensure that they make the finals. Firefly Frenzy and Rainbow Lorikeets. Firefly Frenzy, another good team that has been struggling lately. They will also need 3 points here to try and make sure they don't fall out of the top half. Rainbow Lorikeets are trying to make it into the top half. How do they do against each other? And the Lorikeets have lost everything. My goodness, Firefly Frenzy finally ending their losing streak. They've lost quite a last few matches in a row, but they bundle up in the middle there and take out the Rainbow Lorikeets with a strong middle, slicing through that team very well to take a 5-3 win. Nicely done there by the yellow team, making a bit of a comeback after their losses in the last few matches. And to round out the first half, Wizard Wreath and the Vampire Venators. Neither of these teams really have much of a chance at finals, but they'll need 3 points to try and take a stab at anything. Down they come into the middle. It's close, but the Vampire Venators are going to get it. Wizard Wreath almost had that, at least to a draw, but just could not get it. Vampire Venators had a bit of a sporadic formation, but they managed to break through the Wizard Wreath anyway. Good, strong performance there by the orange team on the right there to take that win over the Wizard Wreath, whose hopes of making the finals are slipping away more and more. Looking at the halfway point results in round 12, Harmonica Onyx and Porcelain Pirates draw. Huntsman Host defeat Pepper Poets, 5 Rangers defeat Rainbow Lorikeets, and Vampire Vendors defeat the Wizard Wraith. Next up, Weather Warriors and the Tree Troop. Tree Troop have lost their last 2 games in a row. Can the Weather Warriors try and capitalize on this poor form? Down they come into the middle, and the Weather Warriors have been annihilated. The Tree Troop stamp their foot down, showing that they are not going anywhere. They might have lost a couple matches, but this was a complete dominating performance by the Tree Troop. Excellently done there. 1-5 is the final score. They aren't going anywhere in that top sector. Disco Deities and Sparkling Sapphires. Sparkling Sapphires here need a win to try and secure their spot in the top half. Disco Deities, their season basically over. Can they do anything against Sparkling Sapphires, though? They will manage to take some points off. That is a drawn match, 3-3. Disco Deities, they could have even had that win there. They did quite well against the Sapphires, but lost that one in the bottom left a bit late. And it will be a 3-all draw between these teams. Sparkling Sapphires probably needed a win there to secure their spots, but they haven't got it. Next match, Mad Hatters and Monkey Mania in match 7 of round 12. Monkey Mania don't have much chance here of making top half. Mad Hatters do, but they probably need a win here to secure that. Down they come into the middle, and it's another draw. 2-all for this one, and the Mad Hatters will not be getting their top half spot today. Not really an exciting match here. 2-all is not really an interesting scoreline, but these two teams did prove to be evenly matched here. 2-all is the final score between them in the Woodwall Court. And our final match for the day, match 8, Orient Aces and the Steelworkers. Steelworkers, of course, top of the table. Orient Aces trying to secure their spot in the top half, maybe get top 4 if they do well enough. Down they come into the middle, and the Steelworkers have finally been defeated. They went 10 rounds in a row without a loss, but the Orient Aces have finally broken their armor with a 1-0 win. My goodness, the Steelworkers, their winning streak has finally come to an end at the hands of the Orient Aces. What a match that was. Looking at our results for this round, just the last half here. Tree Troop defeat Weather Warriors, draw between Disco Deities and Sparkling Sapphires, draw between Mad Hatters and Monkey Mania, and the Orient Aces there beating the Steelworkers once and for all. Standing now, 3 teams tied on 24 points. But looking at that midsection, what's really interesting here, Mad Hatter's there, still with a chance at the Sparkling Sapphires, but the Porcelain Pirates and Rainbow Lorikeets might be out of reach for now. The teams below them really have not much chance at making it to finals. But we have 3 matches left, so anything could happen. I will see you next time in round 13, where we return to the cloth court. Only 3 rounds remain of Marble Skirmishers, and the battle to stay in the top 8 or get into the top 8 is really starting to get interesting. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. We are here on the cloth court for round 13. Looking at the current standings, 3 teams at the top, tied on 24 points, but looking at that middle section there, Mad Hatters are within striking distance of 3 teams in the top 8, and they are hungry to make those spots up. Looking at the fixtures for today, every match here is going to be interesting, considering how close we are to the finals. So let's get right into them. First up, 2 solid teams. We have the Sparkling Sapphires and the Firefly Frenzy. Both of these teams are fighting to stay in the top 8. How will they do? Down they come. And the Firefly Frenzy are going to take this victory. A close match, only 1 marble left on the board. Sparkling Sapphires almost managed to hold on. But the Firefly Frenzy have the only marble remaining there. And so they will take a 4-5 win over the Sapphires. A win that they desperately need. Next up, a match that matters a lot less than the one before it. Steelworkers against the Disco Deities. Steelworkers, of course, top of the standings. Disco Deities, bottom of the standings. How will they do? And the Steelworkers win. I'm sure everyone expected this, considering they are at the top of the standings, very much the best team in the league so far, and the Disco Deities are, well, the complete opposite of that. Pretty close, though, to be fair. A 4-3 win, and those 2 marbles are a bit close to falling off the edge, but Steelworkers are expected to win, and they do win. Next up, Porcelain Pirates against the Huntsman Host. The Porcelain Pirates are fighting to try and get into the top 8. Huntsman Host are fighting to try and stay in the top 8. Down they come, into the middle, and it's going to be a draw. Porcelain Pirates very, very close to losing that. But they do manage to keep those 2 marbles on. However, they desperately needed that win in order to have a good chance of making the finals. A draw is not what they want right now. Huntsman Host do manage to hold on there for 1 point, although they probably wanted 3. Vampire Venators and the Weather Warriors up next. Another 2 teams that probably don't have much chance here of making it into the finals. How will they do here in this match? And it's a 5-5 draw. Every marble there has been knocked off the board. Neither team getting 3 points here is probably going to secure them being unable to realistically make it into finals. Maybe theoretically they could, but once you consider something as theoretically possible, it's probably not possible. And that is a 5-5 draw, 1 point to each team. Results of the first half of that round: 4-5 between Sparkling Sapphires and the Firefly Frenzy. Steelworkers beat Disco Deities. Draw between Porcelain Pirates and another draw between the Vampire Venators and the Weather Warriors so far in this round. Next up, Monkey Mania and the Wizard Wreath. Another 2 teams who don't have much chance of making finals, but maybe a win here could give them a boost. Down they come into the middle. Wizard Wreath are going to take that quite comfortably. Monkey Mania have a marble there dominating the center, but it just isn't enough. They lose the rest of their team. Wizard Wreath managed to keep 2 on, and that's a fairly simple 3-4 win for the team in green there. They might still have a small chance of making finals with that win. Now then, Pepper Poets, a team constantly in the top half, and the Mad Hatters, a team really close to breaking in there, especially with the Sparkling Sapphires loss. A win here would put them in the top 8. Down they come, but they can't do it. The Pepper Poets prove themselves to still be a great team, and the Mad Hatters cannot break through them. They almost managed a draw there. Just not enough to lock off that last Pepper Poet, and they will lose the match 4-3. Pepper Poets, of course, taking that win or want those more points to get a better spot in finals. Second last match of the day, Tree Troop and the Orient Aces, 2 very strong teams who are looking to improve their score, see how they can place themselves into the finals. Down they come, and the Orient Aces are going to take that win. They defeated the Steelworkers last round, and this round they've taken down the Tree Troop. They are on a roll lately. That team very, very solid against the Tree Troop, who honestly haven't been doing too amazingly recently. Still a good team though, but another loss there for them. And our final match of the day, Rainbow Lorikeets against the Harmonic Ionics. The Lorikeets trying to break into the top 8 maybe of charts. Harmonic Ionics famously bad on the cloth court. Down they come, and the Rainbow Lorikeets have absolutely decimated the Harmonic Ionics. Oh my goodness. That was not even close. Pretty much every match here was close, but this one didn't even look fair. An absolute decimation of the Harmonic Ionics by the Rainbow Lorikeets. A 5-1 victory that will give them a nice boost coming into the last 2 rounds to try and make a stab for finals. Results of round 13 now, looking at the last 4 matches. Monkey Mania lose to Wizard Reef, Perfect Poets beat Mad Hatters, Tree Troop lose to Orid Aces, and Rainbow Lorikeets defeat the Harmonic Ionics. The standings after round 13, Steelworkers only team now on 27 points there. Rainbow Lorikeets have risen up 2 spots into 9th there, so them, Mad Hatters, and Porcelain Pirates all have a good chance to try and stab at the Sparkling Sapphires and maybe the Huntsman Host there as well in the next 2 rounds to try and make it into a finals spot. As well as that, the top 5 teams there, Steelworkers, Tree Troop, Harmonic Ionics, Orid Aces, and Pepper Poets are all guaranteed to make finals, and the Disco Eaters are guaranteed to not make finals. But that is all I have for you today in round 13. I will see you next time for round 14 on the bounce court. Only 2 rounds remain, and time is starting to run out for teams trying to make it into the top 8. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. We are on to round 14, the penultimate round, back on the bounce court. Looking at the current standings, the top 5 are making it to finals, the bottom 1 is not, but the rest of those teams have at least something to play for or something to be scared of. Looking at the fixtures for today, a lot of these rounds could make or break a team's season. The others might not matter as much, but could still come into effect when we decide finals positions. Speaking of which, the Disco Deities and the Tree Troop. Disco Deities are completely out of the finals. The Tree Troop, however, have made it, but are fighting for a good position. How are they doing against the Disco Deities? Down they come, and they've lost! My goodness, the Disco Deities, now that they have absolutely nothing to play for, have come out and beaten a top 2 team. What an upset that is, a 4-3 victory for the Deities, and that could seriously hurt the Tree Troop's position coming into finals if they lose out on a better final spot because of that loss. Next up, this match will matter a lot. Huntsman Host and the Rainbow Lorikeets. Huntsman Host could still drop out of the top 8. Rainbow Lorikeets are close to making it into the top 8 if they keep winning. Down they come, but they lose. The Huntsman Host stamp down their foot and say, not today. They will not be losing their final spot, and that is going to seriously damage the Rainbow Lorikeets' chances of making it into finals. A 5-4 win for the Huntsman Host will secure them a finals position, and whether or not the Rainbow Lorikeets still have a chance will actually be revealed in this round. Harmonic Ionics and Sparkling Sapphires. If the Sparkling Sapphires win this, the Rainbow Lorikeets will have no chance of making it into finals. Down these teams come, and the Sparkling Sapphires will do it. They had a tall order here against the Harmonic Ionics, a very solid team, but they have managed to take the red team down there. A solid performance there, a 3-4 win for the Sparkling Sapphires, and that will make sure that any team looking to overtake them will have to also win in this round and try again in round 15. Orid Aces against Vampire Venators. Orid Aces looking to improve their finals position. The Venators are basically out of the race for finals. Down these teams come into the middle, and the Aces once again prove themselves to be one of the best teams in this tournament. Another solid win there for them. It actually could have been a draw there, but the Venators lost that last marble at the bottom left and will lose 4-3 to the Orid Aces, a team that seemingly cannot be stopped right now. First half results, Disco Deities beat Tree Troop, Huntsman Host beat Rainbow Lorikeets, Sparkling Sapphires beat Harmonic Ionics, and Orid Aces beat Vampire Venators. That does have a lot of implications, but we still have the rest of this round to go. Monkey Mania and Pepper Poets. Monkey Mania are basically out of the running for finals. Pepper Poets do have a chance at a top 4 spot. They're coming in 5th though. Down they come, and it's going to be a 5-all draw. Pepper Poets will not be getting the 3 points that they probably need here to try and secure a top 4 position rather than just top 8. Monkey Mania, they'll get a point, I guess. It doesn't really matter for them, but it will make sure that they do not make finals. 5-all draw, no bubble left on the board. Wizard Wraith and the Weather Warriors. Two more teams who really do not have much chance at finals at all. I do not even think this match matters. Down they come into the middle. And the Weather Warriors going to take it. Wizard Wraith almost managed to hang on for a draw there. But as you can see on the right side, that marble there could not hold on. Had too much momentum going to the right. And just rolled off the board. So the Weather Warriors will take a win there. 3-4, but again, it doesn't really matter as they have no chance of making finals right now. Now then, Mad Hatters and Porcelain Pirates, two teams that could still have a chance of making finals in the final round if they win this match. So a big match here. Down they come, and the Porcelain Pirates are going to take it. Just one marble left on the board keeps their hopes of making finals alive and completely finishes off the Mad Hatters. A very interesting result there. Porcelain Pirates, though, are the ones that come out on top. Mad Hatters, they had a good run, but it ends here. Meanwhile, the Pirates will still have one more chance in round 15 to make finals. And our last match of the day, Steelworkers and Firefly Frenzy, two teams that are guaranteed to make finals now, but where they will fall in finals remains to be seen. How will they do against each other? Down they come, and the Steelworkers will not be in doubt. This is a team that has been rock solid all season. They continue it here against the Firefly Frenzy, taking a nice win there. They lost one more marble in the bottom right at the end, but it still wasn't enough. A 4-3 win nets the Steelworkers all 3 points in the final match of round 14. Looking at the results of the second half there, Monkey Mania draw with Pepper Poets, Weather Warriors beat Wizard Wraith, Porcelain Pirates beat Mad Hatters, and the Steelworkers beat the Firefly Frenzy. But what does that all mean? It means that there's only two teams still battling for a final spot. Sparkling Sapphires and the Porcelain Pirates, the latter of which really has a very, very small chance of actually making that final spot. But the top 7 there, who are guaranteed to make finals, still have those finals positions to play for that will decide if they go to a qualifying final for the top 4 or an elimination final for 5th through 8th. As well as if they have board advantage in those matches. All of that will be decided in round 15, where we return to the collision court, and I will see you then. The dawn of the final round. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Marble Skirmishers. 14 rounds passed before this, and we are at the 15th and final one of them all. Well, except the actual final. Looking at the standings, 7 teams are guaranteed to make finals, and another team has a very good chance of making finals, that being the Sparkling Sapphires, going to the Porcelain Pirates having the slimmest of chances to actually take it from them, but those other 7 teams still have finals positions to play for, as where they finish in the standings will determine what round they're in for finals and if they have board advantage. Today's fixtures actually hold some quite interesting matches. There's some Steelworkers vs. Harmonic Granite, Tree Troop vs. Firefly Frenzy. And then the last desperate attempt to make finals will occur in rounds 7 and 8 for the Porcelain Pirates and Sparkling Sapphires. But the first round, a round that very much could have been interesting had these teams held on to their possibilities of making finals, Rainbow Lorikeets and Mad Hatters. But unfortunately, none of them have any chance of making finals now, and the Mad Hatters completely destroyed the Rainbow Lorikeets. That wasn't even close. The Rainbow Lorikeets, maybe they were just, I don't know, they had a bad formation there. Mad Hatters a really good formation. Rainbow Lorikeets probably a bit bummed out there about losing their ability to make finals in this round and didn't even try here. The Mad Hatters will take a very easy victory there, 1-4. Next round, Pepper Poets and the Wizard Wraith. Pepper Poets are playing for a higher spot in the standings for a better finals position. Wizard Wraith are playing for absolutely nothing. Down they come into the middle, and the Pepper Poets are going to take it. Very easy win there for them. Wizard Wraith didn't really put up much of a fight, only managed to knock off 1 Pepper Poet. Meanwhile, the Poets knocked off 3 of their opponent's team's marbles, which means they will take a 3-1 victory there. Quite easy for the red team, but that is to be expected coming into these last round. Next up, Steelworkers and the Harmonic Onyx. A big match here. Steelworkers pretty much have a 100% chance of getting first overall, though. Harmonic Onyx are playing for a better finals position, though. Down they come into the middle, And the Harmonic Onyx are going to take it. Wow, that is a great win for them, especially coming into finals where the Steelworkers are probably going to be the team to beat. And the Harmonic Onyx have just done it here. Pretty close, almost ended in a draw, almost ended in actually a 3-4 victory for the Ionics. But both those marbles fell off, and it's going to end up as a 4-5 victory for the Harmonic Onyx, a nice win for them. And another exciting match is going to follow that one, Tree Troop and the Firefly Frenzy. Both teams here going to be reaching for wins to try and get a better final spot. Down they come into the middle. Close, but the Tree Troop are just barely going to hang on. My goodness, now that was a close match if I've ever seen one. Both teams, they had 2 marbles left here. Tree Troop just barely hold on with that one. And the Firefly Frenzy at the top. That marble can't hang on and they lose the match by a hair. My goodness, that was a great match to see in this last round. 4-3 win to the Tree Troop though. So far, Rainbow Lorikeets have lost to the Mad Hatters, Pepper Poets beat the Wizard Wraith, Steelworkers lost to the Harmonic Onyx, and Tree Troop beat the Firefly Frenzy. But we still have 4 matches left to go, and starting them off is one that does not matter at all. Vampire Venators and the Disco Deities. These 2 teams have been, for lack of a better term, absolutely terrible this tournament. But how are they doing against each other? It's going to be a win for the Venators. A nice easy victory there, it looked like. 4-2 is what it's going to be. They had a very good formation there, actually, over the Deities and took a well-deserved win, but it is going to come far too late for it to actually mean anything. They might, I don't know, move up 1 spot in the standings or something, but it doesn't really matter. 4-2 win for the Vampire Venators. Match 6, Weather Warriors and the Oid Aces. Weather Warriors are playing for nothing. Oid Aces are playing to keep their top 2 spots, and if they win 5-0, they'll finish first ahead of the Steelworkers. Down they come into the middle. That is quite predictably not going to happen, but the Oid Aces still take a nice win there, keeping on more than half of their marbles, knocking off most of the Weather Warriors team, just missing 1 marble there for a 2-4 win. Not much else to say there, just a bog standard match really. The Oid Aces will be happy to keep their top 2 position. Now then, match 7, Porcelain Pirates and the Monkey Mania. Porcelain Pirates here need a high margin victory to have any chance of making it into finals. Can they do it? Down they come. No, they can't. They've lost. The Monkey Mania have beaten the Porcelain Pirates and put to bed their last desperate hopes of a final spot. That is definitely going to sting for the Pirates, although I don't know how much hope they really had. 2-3 win for the Monkey Mania, and that means the Sparkling Sapphires can breathe a sigh of relief coming in against the Huntsman host here. They are still fighting for a better spot in the finals though. As the host though, down they come, and it's going to be a 4-all draw. Pretty boring match to end us off here, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sparkling Sapphires don't even lose here, so it didn't matter that the Porcelain Pirates lost. Huntsman host probably wanted a win there. They maybe could have had a better final spot. I'm not sure. Sparkling Sapphires might have if they won there, but 4-all draw was the final score. Looking at the rest of the results here, Vampire Venators beat Disco Deities, Weather Warriors lose to Oid Aces, Porcelain Pirates lose to Monkey Mania, and the Sparkling Sapphires draw with the Huntsman host. And that means your top 8 are locked in there. In order, Steelworkers, Oid Aces, Tree Troop, Harmonic Onyx, Pepper Poets, Huntsman host, Sparkling Sapphires, and the Firefly Frenzy will be going to the finals. The rest of those teams, this is the last we will see of them. They will not be appearing in a match again for this tournament. So, all we have left now are the finals, where the winner of Marble Skirmishers will be decided once and for all. See you then. 15 rounds have passed, and now the end is finally upon us. Hello everybody, and welcome to the finals of Marble Skirmishers. The top 8 teams decided by the first 15 rounds, competing for 1 championship spot. There you can see the bracket as decided by their relative positions to one another, and each match will be 2 games instead of 1. There you can see the starting fixtures for the qualifying final and elimination final, with board advantage given to the team that finished higher up in the standings. And so, starting us off, Steelworkers versus Harmonic Ionics. First overall against fourth overall. Steelworkers have selected the cloth court, which they were very strong on, while Harmonic Ionics, they were very weak on. How will they do in this first game? Now they come! And the Steelworkers will take that in the first game of this match. Nicely done there. Really just shot the Harmonic Ionics out of the cloth court very easily and took a 4-2 win there. He's going to put the Harmonic Ionics in quite a difficult position. Try and make this back and win this qualifying final to move into the preliminary final and avoid the semi-final. Down they come again into the middle. And it's going to be a 4-all draw, meaning the Steelworkers will win the first qualifying final. Not too bad there from the Harmonic Ionics. Managed to pull off a draw, but it is not enough considering how well the Steelworkers did in the first game. And they will take the win overall 8-6. Moving to the preliminary final. Harmonic Ionics, though, not out yet. Will be going for a second chance in the semi-final. Next up, qualifying final 2. Orient Aces and Tree Troop. Orient Aces got second to the Tree Troop's third, meaning they got board advantage and selected the bounce court here, which they won 2 games on. Tree Troop only won 1 game on that one. Down they come into the middle for the first match here. And the Tree Troop are actually going to take that. Even though they don't have board advantage here, they do well against the Orient Aces. A pretty solid formation there. Managed to just barely knock off all the Orient Aces and just barely survive with 1 marble there. So they will take a 4-5 win there. Starting this off, Orient Aces, even though they have board advantage here, might be in trouble. Maybe they can pull it back in the second game. Down they come into the middle again. Collide! And the Tree Troop are going to win it again. Once more, they knock off all of the Orient Aces marbles and even keep 2 on this time instead of 1, which means they will have a 3-5 win here and win overall a 7-10 victory. My goodness, even without board advantage, the Tree Troop win there, pulling it off over the Orient Aces, and we'll be going to the preliminary finals. Now our first elimination final. The team that loses this will be out of the competition. Pepper Poets and Firefly Frenzy. Pepper Poets got 5th to Firefly Frenzy's 8th, and they selected the collision court, which they got 9 points on, to the Firefly Frenzy's 3. Down they come! And the Pepper Poets are going to take a commanding lead there in the first game. 4-1. My goodness, that is a complete decimation of the Firefly Frenzy. Didn't even look difficult for the Pepper Poets here, and that is going to make it very, very difficult for the Frenzy to come back. They may be out of this already and be eliminated from the tournament. But let's see if they can maybe pull something off here on the Pepper Poets in the second game. And they're going to take the win in the second game, but it's not going to be enough. Only 3-4. Pepper Poets do enough in the first match where even though they lost the second, they hold on and will take the overall win there, 7-5. Firefly Frenzy, they are out. Pepper Poets will be moving to the semi-finals. Second elimination final. Huntsman hosts 6th, the Sparkling Sapphires 7th. Huntsman hosts board advantage, selected the Woodwall Court, which they got 6 points on, but the Sparkling Sapphires only 2. So they definitely have an advantage on this board. Down they come. And the Sparkling Sapphires are actually going to get that first win. Another seemingly upset here. Huntsman hosts just lost most of their marbles there. Only kept 1 on the board. Sparkling Sapphires managed to keep 2. And so Sparkling Sapphires win the first match 3-4 here in this second elimination final. Very interesting score there to start. Can the Huntsman host maybe bring this back? Down they come into the middle. And they can't. It's the same result as the first game. Another 3-4 win to the Sparkling Sapphires, meaning the Huntsman host are out. They had board advantage here on the Woodwall Court and have lost anyway. Sparkling Sapphires, a fantastic performance there to win with an 8-6 aggregate and move to the semi-finals, knocking out the Huntsman host of this tournament. There are your results for this first round of finals. Steelworkers and Tree Troop will be going to preliminary finals. Meanwhile, on the semi-finals side, Harmonic Ionics will be facing Pepper Poets, and the Orient Aces will be playing the Sparkling Sapphires. First up, it's the Harmonic Ionics and the Pepper Poets. Board advantage given to the Harmonic Ionics as they came from a qualifying final rather than a elimination final, and have selected the bearing court, which they were excellent on. Down they come, and the Harmonic Onyx are going to get that win there in this first match, which should be expected considering using their board advantage on the bearing court. They won every single match. Pepper Poet didn't win a single one, so they're definitely at a disadvantage here, and the Harmonic Onyx prove that by taking this first match 4-2. Very well done there by the Onyx. Had a good formation, and they know this court well. But the second game, can the Pepper Poets maybe bring this back against the Harmonic Onyx? Down they come, and they can't. Harmonic Onyx prove their dominance on the bearing court over the Pepper Poets, what truly separated them as the 4th place team to the 5th place team, and take a commanding victory there. 4-3 is the final score of Game 3, meaning the aggregate score 8-5 in the Harmonic Onyx favor, and they will be moving to the preliminary finals. Orient Aces and Sparkling Sapphires up next. Orient Aces select the cloth court here, which they got 7 points on, and the Sparkling Sapphires 1 in the rounds, so they definitely got the advantage here. Down they come, and with that advantage, they take the first win here over the Sparkling Sapphires. Quite nicely done there. Both teams have pretty good formations. Orient Aces came out a bit more aggressive though, and were able to blow through the Sparkling Sapphires' defenses and take the first game 4-3 in this second semi-final. Sparkling Sapphires are going to have to dig deep here to make this comeback. Down they come, into the middle, they collide, and the Sparkling Sapphires have done it! They've knocked off the entire Orient Aces team and only lost 2 of their own. That is going to be a 2-5 win to the Sapphires, meaning they overtake the Orient Aces and aggregate 8-6. What an upset. The Sparkling Sapphires have gone from elimination final to preliminary final. What a win. My goodness, that is going to knock out both the Pepper Poets and the Orient Aces, who are one of the favorites to win here. Meaning, looking to the preliminary finals, it's going to be the Steelworkers versus the Sparkling Sapphires on the cloth court once again. And the Woodwall court will see the Tree Troop against the Harmonic Onyx. But first up, Steelworkers versus Sapphires. Already explained why the Steelworkers like this court and the Sparkling Sapphires don't. But after that win against the Orient Aces, tides might be turning in favor of the Sapphires. Steelworkers still the top team of this tournament. Down they come into the middle, and the Sapphires take the first game. My goodness, the Steelworkers they haven't gotten through them. Steelworkers come up with a worse formation. Sapphires a great one. And that has resulted in the Sparkling Sapphires taking the first win here over the first seeded team 1-3. Steelworkers, they're in a very, very difficult position here to try and make this back and not lose to the Sapphires. Down they come, and they've lost. The Sparkling Sapphires against the best team in this competition on their most favored court have come out and beaten them handily. My goodness, what a win there for the Sapphires. 7-4 aggregate. The Steelworkers are out, and the Sparkling Sapphires are going to the grand final. But who will they face? Will it be the Tree Troop or the Harmonic Onyx? Tree Troop, given board advantage as they won a qualifying final, have selected the Woodwall court, which they have won every single game on. Down they come into the middle, and it's going to be a draw to start for all. Harmonic Onyx doing well here against the Tree Troop. They haven't lost a game on the Woodwall court before, but only won 1 and drew 2. Tree Troop definitely have the advantage on this court, but the Harmonic Onyx have held their own for the first match. 4-4, 1 left on the board apiece, meaning this will be decided in the second game of the preliminary final. Who will face the Sparkling Sapphires? Down they come into the middle, and the Tree Troop have done it. The Harmonic Onyx have been beaten, and the Tree Troop will be seeing the grand final. Harmonic Onyx did well, only lost by 1, but that's all the Tree Troop need. A 4-3 win here, aggregate 8-7, meaning the Harmonic Onyx are eliminated, and the Tree Troop will be facing the Sparkling Sapphires in the grand final. There are those results for the preliminary finals. Steelworkers are gone, Harmonic Onyx are gone, which only leaves the final duel between the Tree Troop and the Sparkling Sapphires back where it all started on the collision court. Neither of these teams may have topped the standings, but through their finals performances, they have proved that they deserve to be here and have a shot at the Marble Skirmishers Championship. Tree Troop starting on the left, Sparkling Sapphire starting on the right. Down they come! And the Tree Troop are going to take the first match. Very, very close here. Both teams pulling out good formations here. They're both bringing everything to this. And the Tree Troop have started off well with a 4-3 win that gives them a 1-point buffer over the Sparkling Sapphires here coming into the second game. Does put the Sparkling Sapphires in a bit of a difficult position, but it is one they have come back from before. All will be decided here. Sparkling Sapphires, a Tree Troop, down they come! And it's a 4-all draw, meaning the Tree Troop are your Marble Skirmishers champions. They fought the entire finals well, didn't drop a single game, didn't drop a single point, and now, with an 8-7 aggregate victory, they have defeated the Sparkling Sapphires in the grand final and win Marble Skirmishers. What a round of finals we saw here today. Many upsets, many victories, and it all ends here with the Tree Troop with the trophy. This team, they played this entire tournament well. 9 victories and 6 losses in the first 15 rounds. And then in the finals, with outboard advantage, they beat the Orient Aces, they beat the Harmonica Onyx, and then in the final against the Sparkling Sapphires, they proved why they deserved this trophy and deserved to win Marble Skirmishers. That's all I have for you for this tournament, everyone. So whenever next time comes, I will see you then.